So, interview, isn't it? For Julian from Rockomotora. Well, I've been just to Buenos Aires and we had a fantastic show. It was such a great time and I love Buenos Aires. It's a great city, it's a beautiful country, Argentina. And always like to come back there and play for you guys and hang with you. First of all, well, not first of all, that was first of all. And now let's go straight to the questions. So I'll read and then respond. Okay, your double album, Borrego, is coming up these days. Rockomotora will review it soon if everything goes well. Well, I hope everything goes well. How do you face an album so ambitious from scratch? Well, you mean probably how I create it. Yes, when I write music, I don't want to repeat myself. I always want to go to different directions, to kind of, different territories. So it's about a vibe, I start writing, it's like making a movie or something. So once an album starts, there is like, a certain idea behind it. For example, the last album, Schattenspiel, was like very dark, it's more like a film music kind of setting. And I wanted to dive exactly into this atmosphere. I had like this picture in my mind, And so I kind of went on with it. And Borrego was a completely different thing. It was about the desert. And there is like, this beautiful, hauntingly beautiful desert which is called Anza Borrego. And that's in Southern California, not too far away actually from where I'm based. So when you drive to that place, it's just, first of all mountains, rocks and hills. And then this beautiful valley unveils itself in front of you. And I started hanging there for a bit because it's so quiet and, secluded. And I started, booking myself into a hotel and started writing. And kind of, started writing about the history of the place, the beauty of the place, the people you meet, the ghost stories. There are like many haunted kind of stories about this place. Overall, it's just basically, why would somebody go to Borrego? I kind of made a whole story about it, and kind of, basically wrote a soundtrack once again, and that was that. And this is how I come up with these things. It's more like a conceptual approach. So let's go to number 2. You have played with high-level musicians who speak highly of you. Tony Levin even told us in an interview that your compositions are excellent. Oh, that's nice. And he, Satriani, and Alex Lifeson, and collaborated on your new album. I think that's what it's supposed to be. What do you think you've learned of playing, in both senses of the word, or from playing, I guess, with... Sorry for correcting this. I'm sorry. I'm just reading along while I speak. With people like this. Okay, good. So, what do these people bring to the table when they're basically on the album, or when we play together also? Because with Tony, I already played live. With Joe Satriani, I'm making albums as well. And we toured together for years now. Well, with Tony, we made, a few albums also together. In different constellation, with like UK Z. Is he actually one of the UK albums? I don't even know. I think he's one of the UK live albums, then the LMR albums, and we played live together as well. And then with Joe and Alex, it is very interesting, because when you are sitting at home and you write and play everything yourself, you can do whatever you want, and everything that comes to mind, you just let out and kind of, write the song. Now, when you bring guest musicians to the table, they bring other input sometimes that you wouldn't have expected, and these things can be very beautiful and very rich, because it's the unexpected that comes in, and you go like, oh, yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that, but let's deal with it because it's beautiful, and obviously, everything that these wonderful people bring to the table is great. And so especially the difference, between, let's talk about like Joe Satriani and Alex Lifeson, was like very how do you say, like rewarding, but also like mind-blowing, and also it was just expected also, to be very honest, because from Joe, he's already kind of so experienced in session playing, or that's what he does as a solo artist. He's experienced as a solo artist. So when he delivered his guitar tracks, he delivered like, one or two tracks, per song, everything completely mapped out. You just needed to kind of, insert it into the song, and it was done. Maybe add a few effects or something and fit it into the mix. And I thought that he would deliver that. And the same thing with Alex Lifeson. Not the same thing, but the expected part. Because I expected Alex to be the guy who played with Rush all the time, and he's not so much the studio musician or something, right? And a solo artist, apart from, what was it, a Victor or something. So he delivered a lot of tracks per song. Like, let's say like 12, 13, 14 tracks. He gave a lot of options and also did something completely different. Sometimes, change the harmony structure. He would kind of, work as if he would work as a composer, for the song as well. And it was very inspiring. So what I did there was like, I took all the parts, we liked. I took basically all my favorite parts and inserted them, and then took other parts where I thought like, oh, hang on, this could inspire a whole new track. And then I made a song out of it, which is called On That Note. And then Alex heard that one and goes like, I played it to him and said like, hey, is that cool if I do this to that one? And he goes, yeah, this is actually very nice. Can I do something to it? I was like, yeah, absolutely. So then he kind of put something on top of it. So he okayed, first of all, me taking his parts, making a new composition out of it, and then extended it, right? So all of a sudden, and then, I finished this whole thing up, and we ended up having a collaborative song on the album, which is called On That Note. So that was a total snowball effect, right? Bringing an idea, he brought something else, I took another part, made another song out of it, he added something to it. Wonderful. So there you go. You come here to present your drum clinic, so I'm going to take advantage and ask you some drum tips. Okay, 4. You're not just talented, you're really pedagogic. Sometimes the talented musicians not necessarily are good explaining their own techniques and styles, but it's not your case. Okay. What do you think about it? Do you like teaching? I do like teaching, and I don't, because you're right. If it's like too pedagogic, then to me it's it kind of, I like to compose, I like to play. I'm more of a player, and I just like creating. However, when we do clinics, and it is a fun thing for me to do sometimes because I can tell and talk from experience. And I can also kind of, show these things, because if you kind of, show things to people, you automatically learn. You kind of, see what people, soak up, what people are interested in, and how people react to that approach. So yes, on and off, I do like teaching, I can say, But again, I try to combine it with like entertainment and performance. 5. Okay, most of your drumming lessons focus on independence as the core of drum playing. How will you define interdependence in this context, and how you think can be how do you think probably can it be enhanced? No, it's not true that I'm just that the main focus is on independence. No, that's not. It's what I became known for some, because I released a few books about it, because it was sort of, I guess, new to the drum scene, what I did, and people wanted to know about it, like, playing like, paradiddles on 2 hi-hats, in my mind. I always had something in my mind that was not, I didn't want to play like anyone else. I always wanted to do something that I heard in my head, so that's why I came up with different instruments, putting like a gong drum over here as a kick drum replacement when I do like 2 hi-hat patterns, which you can mic in a stereo way, and it sounds just very interesting to me. Then, having 4 pedals, like, the 2 hi-hats and 2 kick drum pedals, where I can kind of, alternate between and play patterns. So, and then, putting other stuff on top of it. Obviously, that is an independent approach, but this is more what I mean with independence. The independence part was not so much, of just a technical exercise. It was really just to extend pretty much, the instrument. And I guess, that's how I would, define that. Number 6, you are one of the most creative and musical drummers around. Thank you. But creativity never comes without work. Did you ever think about it, and how did you manage to get it? It is like learning a language. It is like, you have like, all the letters in front of you. You start forming words. You start to pronounce them correctly. And then later on, when you absorbed all that, you don't think about the letters in the words anymore, If you think about the word Starbucks, you don't think about the T in the word Starbucks. So it's the same with music to me. Once you kind of learned your alphabet, you create. It's like a pyramid. Like think about a pyramid. Think about all the letters on the bottom, and then the next row, the next row, the next row, the next row, and all of a sudden, when you're here, there's only one letter. It's like the more you get to the top with this, to the tip, the more zen you are, the more absorbed you have all the technique, and then can speak and articulate yourself freely. I believe in that, not only in music, but in every kind of field of arts or languages, right? You learn, you absorb, and then form your own language. So I guess, that's what, to me, also like creativity comes with and is all about. 7, what sticks out of your drumming is, without doubt, how much you enjoy it. I mean, you can just erase your smile while you're playing, and it's contagious. Thank you. I don't know if this answer can be responded, but how can you maintain such healthy relationship with your music that is also your work? Is there any advice you can give to young musicians to enjoy and keep enjoying their playing? So you think I'm smiling always when I'm playing. Well, it's actually pain. It's like, no, okay, no, okay. I'm sorry. Yes, no, I do have fun with drumming. And you know what? And I think this is what music is all about. This is why I am doing this. I'm not doing this because I want to have a bad time. I'm doing this because I want to have a good time. And even if the music sometimes is dark or something like that, that still means I'm having a good time with it. You know what I mean? You can create something really intense, and something really beautiful or something really dark or something aggressive or something fun. But again, the joy of making it is above all. So, I would say never take music too serious. I mean, take it serious, but don't take yourself too serious. Don't be like, that guy who's like on stage and, because the stage is your home. And by the stage, I mean not only the stage where you are, performing. Yes, that is also the stage, but also it's a stage when you present your music in form of a CD or something. You are presenting it. So the energy you give out to the people, you will receive that back. So be nice to the people. Have fun on stage. 8. I know you developed your own fingerstyle technique. Could you show us how it works? Can I show you how it works? I think I can. So I was actually coming up with that by accident because I misunderstood Gary Chaffee's books because of my lack of English when I kind of started learning with it, because I grew up in Germany. Now I'm based in California. But when I grew up in Germany, I kind of, read his books and then fucked it up. I was kind of misunderstanding it. I thought like, oh, the thumb is on top and then the fingers have like, leave a gap between each finger and then you control it this way. And then I kind of started learning it and it was actually really great. And since then, I never really had problems with my hands or something. So I guess I came up with that a little bit. So it's like 2 techniques I'm using. So the thumb and the finger is the link, between, the stick and your hand. And then you kind of control it with each finger separately at kind of all sorts of speed, right? And then all together. And you save a lot of energy by doing that, because if you use a lot of power with your arm, you just destroy your muscles, your tendons and everything like that. But there's only a certain threshold how hard you can hit the drum, and I can just do this with physics, right? If you have like a drum here, and I hit it like with my fingers, it is not exactly quieter as if I would do it with my whole arm. So, and that's the beneficial thing, so it doesn't hurt you. So this is what I use for, fast technique, like, you can do all that shit. And if I want to just, lay into a groove, I just, turn the hand around and use my wrist, and it's just, it's just that. 9. About the feet. How you developed such a speed and ability to use them as main compositive tools. My feet. My foot technique. Well, it's difficult to show that now, isn't it? But, you know what? It's the same thing. I kind of sit straight, all right? And then, what I do, my toes, are basically the top of the foot, touches the pedal and doesn't really leave the pedal. And then I just, control it, with my whole leg. And it gives me good control. Main part is to sit straight, okay? And then kind of, breathe normally. That's the thing. If you can do that, and if you can talk at the same time over like some patterns that you play, then you already have the freedom to be, first of all, you're relaxed. And you also have the freedom to articulate yourself. And then don't think too much about speed and technique, but just execute it. Obviously, you have to train speed, and independence a little bit, don't you? It's a physical instrument. But that's pretty much, my how my approach to that works. Question 10. What do you think is the difference about doing a good drum bass and a drum solo? Many people and drummers consider that drum solos are just a display of theatrical A&M speed skills. I don't know what that means. How you recommend to phase it from beginning to make it interesting? I guess you're talking about like how to make a drum solo interesting. Well, or the drum bass, okay, let's put it that way. In music, the drum is your pizza dough. You put all the toppings on top and make sure, that the pizza dough is solid so the toppings don't fall off. So be solid, be gentle to the music, and play, the technical things or anything that displays, a technical ability or kind of makes you shine or something when needed. Now, in a drum solo, well, that already contains the word solo, right? So that means, yes, show off a bit, but also don't overwhelm people all the time, because if you play like, let's say, a drum solo for 25 minutes or something, you better make it interesting. It's like forming a piece of music. Use dynamics. Use different styles, different sound sources. Use technique. Use groove. But compose. Make sure there are themes that people can relate to, because think about that somebody's sitting in front of you and going like, yeah. And think musical. Think about what you do, what you would like to hear, and not just like what can I show, So I guess that's the important part. So and theatrics can be visual. So that is a cool thing, theatrics, hell yeah, sometimes I have those parts, where I kind of twirl sticks or do kind of things for a few minutes. It's, you kind of build a drum solo, Okay. Here's a tricky question, 11. Sometimes you use the drum kit with your toms without respecting the standard correlativity. I mean, you can, yeah. Well, I know what you mean there. You come with the one tom 12 inches, 13 inches, and then 10 inches. Does that have a utility? Yeah, I know, that was a thing I came up with out of necessity. I once, when I had like, this hi-hat over here, like an 8-inch hi-hat there was not so much space if there was like a bigger tom. So I just used an 8-inch tom and I could bring the hi-hat in. It's true. And mm. And then I figured it's actually kind of great because I have, like, first of all, this little melody that I can form, but on the other hand, I was figuring out, I was kind of learning, to play in the freedom, with the way, like, more like either way this side or these sides, and that side was always like a little bit, like, where the 12-inch tom would be. I would kind of always move over like that way, and I thought, like, the 10-inch tom and the 12-inch tom are already kind of bigger toms, and then having like the 16-inch floor tom and the 18-inch floor tom over here is very comfortable, and it's actually a spectrum, the sound spectrum I wanted to hear first, and I'm getting to first. So that was the reason, I kind of, formed it. Also, I'm sometimes playing ambidextrous, sometimes I'm playing like open-handed. And it's nice to have like, an 8-inch tom, so I can decide if I want to go, if I want to start here, fill over here, that I have a higher tom. But usually what I mainly use are the 10, 12, 16, 18 toms. The 8-inch tom and the gong drum are a bonus, for certain patterns. 12. There's a question I can't avoid. How is your relation with Argentina? Last year you came with Satriani and the Aristocrats. And now you're coming specially to do the clinic. How you enjoy our country? Have you ever heard Argentinian rock? So this brings me now to a thing. Well, first of all, yes, it's fantastic to be in Argentina. I've been there many times. I think it's my 8th time or something I was there. And I have many friends there, many good people. I just played there with a band. Now I'm actually, obviously, I already realized that I was so late with the interview. I still hope you can use it for something. I'm sorry that I'm late with this interview. There was so much stuff going on. But yeah, I just played in Argentina 2 days ago. The musicians, if you were at the show, you could see that the chemistry was great. Great players, I'm planning to come back to play some more. I was even toying with the idea for actually a few years already to buying an apartment there, actually, and having like, a little vacation home. But I love you guys there, and all around the world, to all my fans and all my friends. But yes, Argentina, wonderful place. I always like to come back. And here we go. Hope you have an amazing night. Thanks again. We're looking forward to listen to Borrego. Thank you. And we need to come back to Argentina. Hope next time we could meet in person, as we say here. Mucha mierda. Okay, that's pretty good. And greetings from Rockomotora. Well, okay. Thank you so much. No, gracias por todo. And buenas noches. And I hope to see you very soon. Thank you so much, my friend. Bye.